The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher.
This morning, multiple investigations are underway in Houston after 8 people died and hundreds more were hurt during an outdoor concert. It happened during the Astroworld Festival as rapper Travis Scott, Houston native and a founder of the event, took the stage. Jay Gray is outside of NRG Park this morning where the tragedy took place.
Hey there, good morning, Alex. You can see the candles, the flowers, the notes that have been left around the fence lining this venue. It's locked down at this point. Investigators still trying to piece together exactly how and why. And in just minutes, it seems, the music festival here turned deadly. Panic in Houston.
I couldn't breathe, I really couldn't breathe, gasping for air, drowning in people.
Tens of thousands rushing the stage at the Astroworld Music Festival.
It was like this weird vibe was going on, and then it was like the biggest mosh pit ever. Everybody was pushing and people were jumping barricades trying to get out.
8 fans, ages 14 to 27, couldn't get out. Killed in the stampede, hundreds more injured.
This incident is being thoroughly investigated and reviewed.
An investigation that now includes narcotics officers after a security guard collapsed during the chaos and had to be revived with Narcan, an anti-overdose medicine. Medics say he may have been jabbed in the neck with a syringe.
I'm honestly just devastated.
Travis Scott, the headline performer, a Houston native and founder of the festival, in an Instagram post sending prayers to the victims and promising to cooperate fully with the ongoing investigation.
Help us figure this out.
Survivors.
It was insane and something you don't want anybody to go through,
Trying to figure things out as well. Now, we expect to see some survivors back here today, picking up items they left behind in the rush to get out. In Houston, Jay Gray, 17 News.
Back here at home, the Kern County Board of Supervisors will hear public comment today on preliminary maps ahead of this month's hearing on the redrawing of district boundaries. The proposed new district lines would leave 3 out of the 5 supervisorial districts with a Latino majority, as opposed to 2 of 5 under current district borders. The changes reflect census data recently showing Kern as a Latino majority county now. While individual supervisors will remain the same throughout the redistricting process, the new boundaries could affect voting during the next election cycle. The redistricting hearing is set for 6 p.m. in board chambers on Truxtun Avenue.
Meantime, an investigation is underway this morning after a person was hit and killed by a car in southwest Bakersfield. First responders were called to the area of South Reel Road and Apache Avenue just before 10 o'clock Saturday night. When they arrived, they found the person had already died. But this video here, shows a bystander attempting to give CPR to the person on the ground before EMS workers step in. It is unclear what led up to the crash. And CHP is also investigating a deadly crash in North Bakersfield. Emergency crews were called to Rio Miranda Drive just off Golden State Avenue at about 8:40 last night. Officials say a car veered off the road, throwing a woman out of the car. The car reportedly landed on top of her, leaving her unresponsive by the time officers got to the scene.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, county supervisors are set to discuss the proposed ordinance that would create legal ramifications for homeless people taking up space on public property. The new proposed law would deem it unlawful for someone to camp or place personal items in public areas. Supervisors will hold a hearing tomorrow at 9 a.m. They will discuss how and where to apply those restrictions.
In education news this morning, Assemblyman Rudy Salas is expected to announce a $6 million investment for Bakersfield College later today. School officials say Salas will present BC with funding recently secured in the state budget to support the college's health education and nursing programs. Speakers will include Salas and BC leaders and faculty who will discuss the programs that will benefit from this funding. It is happening at 3:30 this afternoon at the Weil Institute on Chester Avenue.
The Kern County Cancer Foundation held its 8th annual Campout Against Cancer this weekend at the Kaiser Permanente Sports Village in Southwest Bakersfield. Organizers say this year's event had several new attractions, including a car show, and like always, people of all ages ran and walked 1 mile and 5K courses. Event organizers wanted to raise money to help local patients pay for life-saving treatment.
Third place team was Hard Hats for cancer, and that's from Granite. They were amazing. The second one was Rio Bravo Cancer Center. That's one of the first years they've come out and really supported us. And the last one, CBCC and Dignity, they raised over $29,000. So we are so excited about that.
They also gave out awards for individuals, and the top fundraiser was Mima's. They raised more than $5,000. The U.S. is now allowing international visitors again as the Biden administration lifts its pandemic travel ban on more than 30 countries. You can see people arriving and departing from Heathrow Airport in London, England today. Foreign nationals can now fly into the U.S. if they are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and they show proof of vaccination before boarding a U.S.-bound flight. The new policy applies to a number of European nations, including the United Kingdom, France, Italy, and Spain, as well as China and Iran, among others. Foreign nationals from these countries were previously barred from entering the U.S. because of the virus.
If you're heading to Los Angeles anytime soon, do not forget to bring your vaccine record with you. That's because the city is implementing some of the nation's strictest COVID-19 vaccine verification rules today. People living or visiting LA and hoping to visit indoor restaurants, gyms, entertainment and recreational facilities, as well as personal care businesses, will need to show proof of full vaccination against COVID. Store owners will be able to accept a CDC vaccination card, a scan or photograph of the card on a mobile device, or a digital vaccination record issued by the state. City officials will begin outreach efforts next week, but actual enforcement of the sweeping mandate will not begin until November 29th.
Here at home, coronavirus shots are now going into the arms of children as young as 5. Kern Public Health began administering the shots at the fairgrounds on Friday. Some local parents say they're relieved to give vaccines to their kids as the CDC gives the green light for a new phase of the vaccine rollout. And many pediatricians say vaccinating children is crucial for ending the pandemic.
They can be hospitalized. In fact, in September, 30,000 children within the U.S. were hospitalized. 1/3 of those kids had to go to the pediatric ICU. And we know that, unfortunately, kids can spread the virus just as well as adults do now. If they are vaccinated and they don't catch it, they can't spread it.
The CDC says the shot is safe and more than 90% effective for young kids. To schedule an appointment, you can visit the state's website, myturn.ca.gov.
Meantime, here's a look back at the past week of coronavirus numbers here at home. As the third surge of COVID-19 continues to take a potentially deadly toll on our community, last week Public Health announced the virus has stolen 37 more lives. We also learned 2,522 more people have been infected with COVID. An average of 231 people were hospitalized with more severe symptoms, while another 61 people were fighting for their lives in the ICU. We will get another update later today on how many more people were infected from over the weekend. 5:36 is our time now, and 17 News is your local election headquarters. And today, November 8th, marks 1 year until 2022's general election.
It might seem like a long way out, but events already in motion could affect how it all shakes out next fall. 17's Chris Burton is live from the Kern County Elections Office this morning with more on what you need to know. Chris, good morning.
Alex, Maddie, good morning. And here in California, all eyes will be on Governor Gavin Newsom, who must once again defeat challengers after beating a recall effort just 2 months ago. After months of campaigning and almost $500 million spent by the state and candidates, nothing much changed. These final recall numbers showing Newsom won the recall election in nearly exactly the same fashion as his first gubernatorial victory. Republican Larry Elder emerged at the top of the recall field, though it is unclear if he'll run again in 2022. What is clear, though, is Newsom standing as the favorite next year. According to a recent UC Berkeley poll, Newsom leads likely Republican challengers by more than 20 points individually. Though there may be some concern after last week when Republicans outperformed expectations in governor's races in Virginia and New Jersey. Representative races, meanwhile, will be affected by the current statewide redistricting process. A state committee is expected to release its first preliminary maps ahead of Wednesday. Live in Bakersfield, Chris Burton, 17 News.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.